Here we go. It's our first live stream. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, doing something new.
Yeah, and some people here with us, it sounds like. It's kind of
Hi.
cool.
Good morning if it's morning for you.
How does this feel? This is a little
I
different
feel
than...
so weird because when I first went on YouTube, Kenton said, Becca, you got to come and do a video. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh, did I say that wrong? And he was like, no one can see you. We don't even have to put this up. We can edit it. So now, after many years of that, I'm having to switch my brain. Like, people can see me right now. If I say something really dumb, it's there forever.
Hello from Germany. Hey, hello
Oh
from...
my gosh, hi.
Hello from Wisconsin. That's been one of the coolest things I think about this whole YouTube journey has been connecting with people, hey, across the world. And sometimes that's for us led to people coming to ReWild U or otherwise visiting us.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
My favorite thing. And that's why I'm excited about trying this, because I wish I could see all of you the way that you can see us, because it feels really odd not to look somebody in the face. But I love that there's so many of you out there from all over. And I wish we could all talk to each other. That's what I really wish in my heart of hearts, that we could have a big campfire, bonfire, and everybody talk together.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. 17 years old from New Jersey.
Oh, hi, good morning.
So you've been out east. I've never been out east before.
Beautiful, beautiful out there. Although I don't know where in New Jersey, but...
Man, that was a formative time when I was 17. That's when I went and spent my 3 months in the woods. And that was life-changing. And that was kind of a big time for us, too, when we were sort of
We've had
discovering
some
each other.
Let's see here. Who else? I like your hiding in the woods video. That is a good one. That's a fun game to play.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Up north we had a different terrain than here. It's much more difficult down here because our terrain doesn't have what's called I call them, what do they call them?
Oh gosh.
Tree tracks.
Oh yeah.
So a tree falls and then that root ball rots down and it creates these, in the last for hundreds of years, these dips and pillows and cradles in the terrain.
Just saying hi to people who are down there.
Pakistan, how cool is that? Wow.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, see, I had to have my glasses on so I can read my screen. Wow. Oh, that's so exciting.
Thanks for joining us because I know this is maybe not the most ideal time for you when you're across the world, as for us, but Germany, Pakistan, that's not too bad.
Maybe we could do a poll sometime at the end if this is successful and just ask people what are some other times. We were really debating when can we try to catch, a fair amount of people, but obviously it's so interesting that there's different times.
So before we jump into 7 vs. Wild season 3.
Oh, I wonder what that is.
Made by a YouTuber. Yeah, some of these YouTube channels have gone huge, haven't they? That's cool. We don't watch any survival videos. We don't have a television, and we try to really reduce our screen time. So people will talk to me about all these different Alone, and Naked and Afraid, and but we just aren't familiar with them because we haven't seen any of them.
We have our head buried in the woods mostly. Our screen time is this time when we connect with all of you.
So we're going to hit some announcements here because there's some kind of things that have been shaking up in our life a little bit.
Wow.
And the first announcement is that we're going to take a week break from YouTube. So we're not going to publish a video this next coming week. So it'll be 2 weeks until we're on like usual. But even more than that, there's a new project that we've been really wanting to put our hearts into. And we will come back to those.
Well, not if I disappear. We're getting our feet wet here. I want to talk to people, and then it's like, oh, but wait, I have to see what they're saying. So
no, that's so King Komodo. That's so true. That we have to come back to what we're saying, but
you're going to take notes.
You're to me a paragon of being really in touch with your screen
Oh
time
my gosh.
and how it works in your life, but
Mm.
I can get sucked into it. Although in the last couple of weeks, which is part of our new adventure here, you've been helping me to really take control or more awareness of screen time and how it affects me. And so I feel like there's more and more people feeling that. You know, there's so much amazing stuff that we can find on YouTube, on any kind of screen. And yet, to me, no matter how amazing it is, I always feel a little empty after sitting there. Where if I go out and I actually experience, whether it's nature or it's talking to other human beings or any kind of, we call it a real life interaction, it's so different than anything I encounter on the screen. So yeah, that's an important thing. And I hope that continues because we could
Yeah.
get lost in these screens. We really could.
Well, I don't think that you should feel bad or any of us should feel bad. When I was growing up, you know, I'm almost 50. When I was growing up, none of this existed this way. And I went to the Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay, I loved to learn. And essentially, this hi.
Oh, cool.
And so yeah, Jeff, you'll know the huge, gigantic Encyclopedia Britannica. And I would just pull it out and I would flip through and I would read things and I would look at things. Well, that's what this is, this tech. It's very challenging. I mean, even for me, because you can learn something. If you want to know something, ask Google, you know? And it's like your own Encyclopedia Britannica, but a million times bigger and more winding than ever. You know, we talk about a rabbit hole when we talk about that. You know, when you just have a book, you can do it, but eventually, you know, it's there and the world is calling you and you go, but there's a tunnel that you can get into. But I think part of that's because we love learning.
Palmetto Paratrooper, same thing you're saying here. A never-ending
Yes.
encyclopedia.
Yeah. So
And
how do we help ourselves with that, especially if you do love to learn? You know, so but I think you're right. Going out into nature gives us an interior
hey,
learning.
see you.
Oh, bye. Gives us an interior kind of learning. You know, when you have an experience out in nature, whether it's a close encounter with an animal or it's something that we would say negative, like tons of mosquitoes, or you know, you suffer an injury or whatever it might be, there's kind of a different learning that happens with that.
Yeah, that's it, because it can be a negative experience, right? We try to just
Right.
curate these positive experiences on our screens, and sometimes it's being miserable for a night. Or, I mean, we've said many times, what are the campouts we remember?
Okay, you guys got to know this about Kenton. This is where you get the real deal. So
Hey.
when I first met Kenton, he was always like, and this is how he still is, but more moderated. But he's like the real guy. That's we're gonna go out, you know. And here I am. I've hardly really camped a lot, but I love nature. He's like, no, we can't have a tent. No, we can't bring, you know, a cook pot. No, we're only gonna bring a blanket, or you know, like finally we got to bring a tarp, you know. And then what happens? Literally, the first 5 times I went camping with Kenton, it poured rain on us. And we ended up sleeping in the back of our car because we had no tent, we had no sleeping bags, we had no nothing. I'm doing it differently the next time. But I really admire that about Kenton, is he's always pushing the edge of what do we actually need, and how can we find what we need.
That's a very kind way to say it. You could phrase that completely differently if you wanted to. Yeah, walk with your dog. And that's
yeah.
if we sometimes we feel like we see all these things on YouTube, and then if we're gonna have a real life experience, it has to be mind blowing. It has to be amazing.
Mm.
We have to go parachuting or whatever
Right,
it's
bigger,
gonna be.
better, faster, stronger, that kind of.
Right. So we can forget that some of the coolest experiences are just a walk with your dog, or just being with your family.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, Drew's here. Just, you know, setting up a really nice photograph, and seeing that composition you saw there comes out into something beautiful that you can share with other people. there's so many of these simple joys that can
Right.
get lost.
The ordinary moments, that's what our life is mostly made up of. And when you see those ordinary moments for what they truly are, you begin to have more of an extraordinary experience every day. You can string those together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try to jump back here.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's easy to get distracted.
Okay, so we have this new project that we're taking on. See, we're going to get distracted. Ah!
Oh, happy holidays. Enjoy your time with your family. That's such a good time to practice loving other people and noticing how you respond.
Yeah, I remember the first time you came on to our channel, and so really fun to get to come to your channel and learn so much about mushrooms and stuff. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Your military time made you enjoy getting rained on. Aha, yes. So okay, so I have a childhood friend that was. Well, we have a couple military buddies. I'm thinking of Sean here, and I feel like in all of them there is that appreciation of things that others of us might push away from, whether it's rain or it's sleeplessness. Yeah, I mean Eric, he just kind of thrives on
He does.
intensity. Sean was the same way. I mean, we went out with him. He came and visited us and at the school and went out with him, and I mean, we just wanted to sleep on the rocks. And wow, this is awesome.
Well, sometimes that discomfort reminds us of our aliveness.
We're alive.
That's what I experienced with the cold showers or going rolling in the snow, is that I can think of it as discomfort, but also when you're done with it, I mean, after my cold shower, I'm like, woo, I feel like I could do anything. And I think that maybe if I think ancestrally, we maybe had more of that in our lives, just the breathlessness, the kind of invigoration. And, with all of our comforts, we don't have to get into that anymore. We have to choose it.
Yeah, you have to choose to take a cold shower. And some of our neighbors are different because we've got we've got people around us. We have a really cool group up here on the ridge. So we have people that I would say kind of put us to shame with some of their wilderness skills.
That's
and foraging.
why we live here, because they're inspiring.
Yeah. And some neighbors that don't have any electricity to heat their, so every shower is cold.
No running water. They have to bring it, and then it drains down. And and some friends that are super awesome, they have wild food all the time in their diets. I mean, we try, but they're like living the dream. It's amazing.
Yeah. I relate to cats, how they sun in the grass and stuff. And Leo.
That sounds so nice right about now. Oh my gosh.
If we turn this, it looks like there's a glare of sunlight coming in, but we've had this
foggy.
Yeah, this winter that isn't a winter because there's no snow on the ground, and yet it's sort of not very sunny usually, so it's a little gloomy and makes us miss that just laying out in the sun.
Yeah.
Okay, so even if you need a comment, we're gonna hit this stuff, and then we'll come back to it because they're not going so fast that we're gonna lose them.
That's good.
Okay. So our project that we're
that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've had this vision for a little while, this project, where maybe I should backtrack a little bit and say the ReWild You channel has been wonderful for us, and at the same time, it hasn't grown sometimes in the way we've hoped, and we
don't fit the algorithm. That's our problem.
That might be it. I don't know what it is really, but it could be that we've been told over and over again, you've got to narrow down your videos to something.
We just want to talk about everything.
Yeah. So this is what we have fun with, I think, on this channel. And we want to produce stuff, but we want to produce stuff as a family. And so we've had this vision now of creating these family videos. And something that we also love is kind of fantasy stuff, swords and magic, and the girls are into that too. And so we've been creating this idea of these videos where our family goes out kind of dressed up in more fantasy medievalish garb. And each time, wrapped within a story, we take some skill, some kind of a bushcraft or nature skill, and that's part of the adventure. So it would still be educational in the sense that you could learn hard skills during these, but you'd be taking a little adventure with us instead of just having a skill presented, because there's so many people that are just doing that so well. I feel like
there's
at this point,
awesome channels out there.
bushcraft, yeah. And so we want to take a different slant to it. We may do this on another channel. So if we do that, we will let people know here. So you can subscribe to that channel if you want. And we will also be doing it through our current Patreon. So remember, you can join that Patreon for free now, and then you'll get direct alerts of anything new that we do without being subjected to the regular YouTube algorithm if you so want to do that. But that's this pet project that we're going to take on for a while here is intense as far as trying to film it, trying to edit it. It's a lot more time and energy intensive. So we're going to step back a little bit. And the promise we're making to ourselves with the ReWild You videos is we're going to do them when and if we want to. And it may end up being more of these, may end up being more of our podcasts. It may be that we just have inspiration. We may make more videos than before, I don't know, but we're not going to hold ourselves to a regular Saturday video.
We're just trying to free up time for this new project, and it's exciting on one hand for me because it involves our whole family, and the girls are really excited about it, and they have a lot of interest in creating this and sharing with people. And I love the idea of getting them more involved and being able to be a part of things more as they get older. So that's one place that for me it's exciting, and we just wanted to free up space energetically and time-wise to be able to investigate what this feels like a little bit more.
So we're really excited about it. We have our first video pretty much done. We have to add some things, but I would say within the next couple of weeks, we'll probably put that out. Virginia Wolf says, that sounds awesome. Thank you for that encouragement. We're really excited about it. Want to just experiment with it. So King Komodo, I want to say I really appreciate that, because those have really been my favorite videos to do. And
the overcoming anxiety, fear, anger.
Yeah, those ones where I just can sit down and share. It's usually something that we've been working on and refining in our life. And just, it's turned into a tool that we really want to share with people. And
it's the stuff they don't teach you in school. It's all the stuff that you're supposed to just figure out on your own. Or, when I was younger, how does everybody know that? I struggled with perfectionism and all sorts of things. And where do you go to figure that out if you don't have somebody in your life, or you have access to good material that you don't have a clue.
Yeah. Joe Mack, that is the best compliment ever. Oh my gosh. I think that's what's kept us kind of going over the years, through the ups and downs of that YouTube journey, is when we hear from people that just being present with us is meaningful in some way, or that the videos that we've done have changed their lives in some way. And that's why we wanted to do this in the first place, was maybe we could, our whole life has been a journey. I don't know whether to call it a spiritual journey or an emotional, mental journey of trying to be more present, feel more alive. And because we have devoted ourselves to that so strongly, we've developed a lot of unique tools that have really helped us out. So to share those is a huge, huge joy.
Yeah. My hope is always that something that we've experimented with or that we've found is useful for us can be useful for someone else. And then through this channel, we've also gotten wonderful suggestions and feedback from you guys about things that you do or try. And then that is something that we can take into our life and try. And I just I wish more people had the ability to share those kinds of things with each other. This culture makes it really difficult to feel like you belong if you're questioning. If you question, hey, do I need all of the money or the job or the, the this or the that? It can feel like, oh, I don't belong. But we all do belong and we can share with each other. And that's where I think that's what I really love about this channel is, hey, there's more of us than just me. I'm not alone in feeling like I want something different.
Yeah. So let's open it up to a Q&A. So if you have questions for us that you wanted to ask before, let's open that up, because that was maybe part of our concept with this. What are you thinking so far? This is kind of fun.
I don't know. I still wish I could see people. I feel I'm just in my own room here with the camera, but I appreciate the comments. So yeah, again, I love seeing people's faces. So again, I wish there were all of you guys here and we could talk, but I'm grateful.
This is way more fun than just doing a regular video for me though, because there is interaction, and that's kind of what I've been wanting.
Yeah, well, we did that poll and the live stream came out on top in terms of what everyone was interested in. And so I was like, let's try it. Let's see what happens, even though it feels a little odd.
So,
oh, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit about people up here
on the ridge.
On the ridge, yeah, and how they're inspiring. And this has been really neat since we moved here, because there is such a diversity of people up here. I was thinking last night, so, oh yeah, I know.
Right, it was just the solstice. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm gonna get off track. So Kenton built this stone, it's not a circle, but it shows the directions, and out of these stones up on kind of the highest point on our land.
I'm trying to get in touch with my European ancestry there by building a stone circle.
And so we went out, it was cloudy on the solstice, but we knew that was going to happen. So the day before the solstice, we went out and we marked where the sun rose and when it set with stones. And it's amazing to see this narrow little trajectory of the sun's path. And so we're excited for the summer solstice. We're going to do the same thing. And we're interested to see like how much more time you actually get. So yeah, the shortness of the days right now, darkness is hard for me.
So you see this? Okay. I was in the city yesterday, getting dog food. It was the worst weather, but I felt alive. I came home feeling like I accomplished something. Now that's an important remark, because there is, we call it doingness. There's so much emphasis in our world on doingness, so accomplishing things. And just experiencing life does not often fit into that category, right? So it's not enough to be present, let's say, with another person, to really listen to them and connect with them. We have to do something to make a day worthwhile. And that's an important shift, I think, that all of us can make, is to acknowledge that just presence, whether it means a presence with yourself, there being with nature, or presence with another person or with an animal, whatever it is, that presence is a great accomplishment. And it's a vital, important thing. It's maybe more important than a lot of the things that we set on pedestals as goals. Have we ever been to Europe? What countries did you visit?
You were briefly in Europe on your way to Nepal.
I was super briefly. Okay, so the answer basically is no, we have not been to Europe yet.
We would like to go, but we're kind of waiting for the girls to be just a little bit older. But we know a lot of people through YouTube and through family, and would love to go.
And there's a huge list of places. We want to see Scotland, we want to see Ireland, we want to see France, Germany.
I have
would be amazing.
Scandinavian ancestry, so Norway and then Switzerland and
We were talking about Norway last.
yeah. But it would just be fun to go there, and I think I would love to go there to see some of the different natural places and some of the ruins, and obviously to eat food.
But the one place I've been, I think, is Germany. That's where I touched down, right?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think actually, so I was going to Nepal because my brother is this super awesome, cool guy that has traveled all over the place. In his youth, he spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia, and he was 2 years in Nepal.
2 years in Nepal, 2 years in Mongolia.
Yeah, three.
Three.
Oh man, I don't know.
He did the Peace Corps and then some other programs, but you went to visit him in Nepal.
Yeah.
And you went briefly into.
We stopped down in London, somewhere in England, and then
Kenton doesn't have the best memory.
and then we stopped in Germany, and then shot down
But you didn't get to go off of. You were in the airport.
to Dubai.
Oh yeah, to
Touchdown
Dubai.
Yeah.
Somebody commented about your hair in Dubai.
Yeah, I
right?
always remember I went to the bathroom at the airport in Dubai, and this guy comes in and he has a fully automatic
He was security or something.
security, and he says, "You have very beautiful hair." Thank you. that was all. It was a harmless
no
exchange. At the time, it was a
Yeah.
little intimidating there with that guy. So, yeah.
And I interrupted you way back. So what were you saying? A long time ago, you were talking about something before I started talking about the solstice and how.
I don't know what it was.
Oh, no.
So, do you play music, like piano or
Oh.
guitar? Music is
Oh.
a savior for me. I would love to. Okay.
What kind of music do you play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about your music. So we have a piano in the house.
Mhm.
I feel like, okay,
I don't get to play enough.
quite good.
I'm-
We do have a guitar. We have the main instruments we play are some ukuleles, but we got this amazing ukulele from, should I get it?
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's a ukulele.
Yeah, this is from a maker in Australia, and he made it for us. So it looks sort of like a medieval lute, and it gives us that feeling. And to me, we only know a few chords. We're really not good at it.
Musically, but we love music.
But we love to we have a whole bunch of songs that we've made up that we
Cool.
play together and sing together as a family.
Yeah.
And it's a huge joy and upliftingness for us, even though we're not by any means.
Well, and Drew was on here. I don't know if you still are, but Drew was trying to teach us some ways of just playing, and
that improv piano stuff he does
so
is
impressive.
amazing.
I don't have it. I don't have it yet. I think it takes time.
See a proper castle.
I know. Strap on. Ken has swords. Mwah. Ken has swords, knives, bows and arrows, spears. What else do you have?
We're so
Whips.
into that kind of castle-y stuff.
Oh yeah, throw on a cloak and a sword and that's kind of a solace, at least for me, maybe for some of you, where you can just escape in your imagination. And that's maybe what is a gift of nature too, is when you're out in nature, you can be whatever you want. You can not be in this modern world if you don't want to, and you don't have to subscribe to all of that. For a moment, you can just be whatever you want in that moment.
Mike from Afton?
What?
Oh my gosh.
Afton, Minnesota.
Mike Evans.
What? I told you were going to run into somebody. I called it. I said, you're going to know, somebody is going to be on here.
Oh my God. Virginia, well, thank you. That's encouraging. And, Drew has encouraged us in that same way, that we don't have to be playing concerts. We don't have to be doing anything, that it just has to be beautiful to us. And that passion will make it grow over time.
Yeah.
Mike, wow.
Oh my gosh.
How cool.
We could have a whole conversation just about what's been going on.
Write to us on email. So Mike is Oh my gosh.
A
There's
friend
so
from
much.
long ago.
Yeah.
He knows all about the swords and
Oh yeah.
playing and
And
imagination.
do you remember, like, I had this memory of us taking bottle rockets and lighting them and shooting them at each other out in your front yard and in the neighbor's yard? Do you remember that? We did some we did some not super smart stuff, but none of
That's
us ever
the
got
story
hurt.
of your life.
Night games.
Not
Oh
super smart
man.
Drew says, I'd like to play with music with you guys again. We would love that. That would be so much fun.
I know. We have to have, it'd be good to, because you showed us some things, Drew, on the piano that were kind of my favorite way to approach a lot of things, which is not with a huge set of rules, but just to flow. And that's kind of what we try to do with our,
oh, good. We're
magic
getting
missile.
a recommendation of where to go. Oh, thank you. That's the thing we need. When we go to Europe eventually, we're gonna have to ask people, tell us where to go.
Right.
That's the way to find really cool stuff, is to ask the people who know.
Yeah, because we're not the people that would want to go and see the regular sites. It'd be cool to see that was like that in Hawaii when we lived there for a little while. We talked to native people and talked to people that had lived there for a long time, and
they'll tell you where to go.
Yeah, we found some super cool places.
Yeah.
So our neighbors, that oddly now we're there at the same time that we were.
In the exact same place.
Right, very close to us.
They live next door to it's crazy.
They've told us some places.
Oh, thank you. Oh, look at that cute little.
Just want to thank you about the video we made 10 years ago. Look at the song stuck in your head.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Oh, I remember filming that one. That was way back at Bubbling Springs.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of going out into nature is that it's so natural, so comfortable. Eventually you sit down with your mind, and at some point the endless searching just stops.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's the endless searching. That is a phrase to remember, because that's what it feels like to me, at least in what I call the standard American culture, is a never-ending quest for something that's supposed to fill you up. And if you do go out into nature, or you even, maybe it's just within your own home in a peaceful place, and you sit and you can find stillness, you can realize the searching isn't necessary. But boy, does so many things want to make us think you got to have this or that or something else to fill you up. And so, yeah, that breath.
I've been meditating. I've been meditating a lot more lately. No, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Super water. And getting deeper and deeper into just stillness. That stillness of mind, it is such a beautiful state. I sometimes wonder if that ancestrally was our normal state of mind. And we've just learned to have so many things on our mind that our mind is always revving. And it feels wonderful. It feels right to have our mind be more still. So I can really appreciate that. First time.
No worries about comments. This is new for us too. We're just flying by the seat of our pants. So we'll take anything at any time.
No problem. Sean, so cool to see you here. You've been a big part of our channel for a long time. Yes, and this is the first time we've done a live stream. So
You're here on the maiden voyage.
I'll check it out.
Oh, hello. Hi, Shay.
Oh my gosh. Hey. Shay. Yeah.
Wow. It's like a party here.
I know. Yeah. You brought tons of joy to our life, Sherry. Thank you so much for all your positive comments and presence. And yeah, if you know what you talked about doing because we still are doing custom things down here where people want to come and stay. That's
yeah, we finally decided that it feels like the world and we are ready again to have some people here. So we do have our Peaceful Warrior program that we're working on, the 3-month program that we have open right now, but also customized programs if people want to come and stay. And we have the yurt. So if you don't want to camp or you don't feel like rain's going to make you feel alive every single day. You could stay in the yurt.
You can glamp
You
here.
can glamp it. You
Glamp.
know?
Becky's
So-
here. Hey.
Oh, hi.
Oh, love you both so much. They
Oh,
share.
yeah, yours. Oh, mwah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That yurt is a special place for us because, of course, when Mirabelle was just born,
6
basically.
months old, I think,
Yeah.
was when we finally moved in. Talk about crazy. Oh my gosh. Actually, that was a really hard year for me.
Yeah.
Not necessarily living in the yurt, but being a new mom, living without running water and electricity while you're a new mom, and then just called into question all sorts of things about life and how we live it and how to parent. But so we lived in that yurt from when she was 6 months to about a year and a half. And it was amazing. It was very transformative. Lots of cool stories from there, but also a lot of challenges, lots of growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an amazing time and hard.
Oh,
You're right.
thank you, sweetie.
Aw. Yeah. What Becky's saying there, so much respect to you. Being a new mom is, being a new dad is tough, but being a new mom, I feel like is way, way more. And to do it in those circumstances, because we were at a tough place in our life financially,
Everything was tough.
Yeah. And there we were living in the yurt. You were trying to teach belly dance at the time.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful in some ways too. I guess growth built, right? Even though it was hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it transformed a lot of things for me. If there weren't the hormones, I think it would have been easier, but whatever. Yeah. It would be so awesome if we
Yes.
could meet each other in real life. I wish we had a teleportation or something, Well, why are we developing all this other technology? Let's get to the teleportation. Of course, that would have its own problems, but
I'm excited to belly dance with you.
Oh yeah. Oh, belly dancing. Oh gosh. It's like music, dance. And dance is a form of connecting with ourselves and with everything out there that's I don't want to say bigger than us, but we're connected. So mwah.
Yeah, we put on some Latin music the other day. And when you Latin dance, because you also
I used to do Zumba.
Yeah, you were a Zumba teacher.
I'm a firm believer in feeling really the Latin music makes me feel really quirky
The way you move
and silly. And I just think we take each other and ourselves way too seriously in this world. Thanks for the hearts. And I just think I feel better when I embrace my own dorkiness or whatever you want to say. And I don't feel like, oh, I did that. Or, that feeling of shame and like hiding is so detrimental. And I just think when we can be silly and goofy, we put ourselves at ease and we put other people at ease.
Yeah. So we have that word dorkiness, but there's this new word the girls.
Oh, derpiness. I've just learned the word derpy.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys all know it or whatever, and I'm behind the times.
Have you heard this derpy? And derpy is maybe the new kind of cute, dorky, fun. It seems, I don't know. So that's a word we've been using lately. And that was so fun. The girls loved it.
Yeah.
Just having fun. Merry Christmas, best wishes for your first live stream.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's an interesting holiday season for us because living up north, we had consistently tons of snow. I mean, basically for the girls, walking through the woods at some point became not possible.
I tried to go out all the time. And we had a dog at the time, so I would try to walk him. And it got to a point where I had to wear snowshoes. And then it got to a point where even snowshoes just didn't feel like I could. It was just so much effort. But it was beautiful. It was super beautiful.
Okay, where do we go for more info on renting yurts? So if you're talking about down here, we are opening up basically ReWild U for programs. So the custom stuff, people come down, they can stay in the yurt. We've had people stay in the yurt, and then we do sessions on wild edibles or martial arts or meditation or whatever they're after. So that's definitely an open door. You can email us through our website, and we can talk about all the details of things like that. But if you're just looking for going and checking out yurts, a lot of the state and national parks
Oh,
at this
yeah.
point.
You
Right.
stayed in a yurt with your dad and your brother. Where
Yeah,
was that?
that was up in Michigan in the state park, and that was in Porcupine Mountains.
Okay.
And there's really cool yurt opportunities all around the country now in those national and state parks, and it's cool to stay in those because usually you have to hike back to them, and it's a different experience than staying in a regular campground.
No snow in Ontario.
No snow in Ontario.
Yeah, I've heard there's not snow up north right now. It's very odd.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, people building their own yurts. So we've taken our yurt up and down way too many times. Way too many times. But if you were handy, which I am not, you could easily make your own yurt. Yeah, and it was neat because when Kenton's brother was in Mongolia, the yurts there are very different. They call them gers, and they're shorter, so you can only kind of stand up right in the middle where the stovepipe is, and they're kind of made of felted, animal fur is the insulation, and it's so interesting. They're an interesting structure to me.
Yeah. Yeah. He kind of good naturedly teases our yurt. That's
Yeah.
not a yurt.
He's like, oh, what is this? A hotel?
And I never got to go and see him in Mongolia and see the traditional ones, but man, he has cool stories about. He lived up with the nomads for 2 or 3 years. I can't remember which it was.
Oh, Afton State Park has yurts.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't been to. We used to haunt Afton State Park
Yeah,
quite a bit
long
back in the
time
day.
ago.
It's because it's not too far from us now. But oh yeah, to have Lily come and do.
Yeah.
And that's something we've really, I think, been wanting to do, is to have families down, or just a parent with kids, because
This area is amazing and so fun.
it's super kid oriented here. It's a lot of families right up here on the ridge, and it's a very safe place. We have a lot of people that are watching. There's a guy that kind of patrols, and everybody's keeping an eye out on everybody else.
Sweet neighborhood around here.
Yeah, it's super interconnected, and so it's a great place for kids. And our Liliana, loves to teach wild edibles, and she knows a lot. So she'll take the grown-ups out, and I usually, when we're doing a wild edible session, I step back and she teaches them how to do it. And then people are delighted with this girl that goes and picks up things off the ground and says, taste this, this is amazing.
Well, we would love to see you.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think we've missed some things. Yeah, it would be awesome if we didn't need airplanes. I totally agree. And we could just travel.
Sean, just teleport? Yeah. Yeah,
totally.
We're totally for that.
Yeah, let's see here.
Big problem in society, most people are led by their fears. What are the sources of that?
Birth trauma. Well, actually, that's a good question. I'm not sure if we can know that.
Yeah, that's, I tend to focus less on, in my work with people, on early childhood trauma, stuff that's not in people's direct memory. Because I think memory is so, we know that we remake our memories each time we create them. So to try to help people remember things from before their natural memory, I think we get into kind of interesting ground there, where we can sometimes create memories for people if we're not careful. So I sometimes think the fear is just sort of built into this world we live in, that has so many things, if you think about it, sort of hanging over our heads.
Yeah.
Right? There's the IRS, there's laws that we don't know about. And then there's these movies and media that portray people being falsely accused of things, of this. And then we are hearing all the time about, if we eat this, we'll get cancer. There's so much fear that is perpetrated in this culture, and it's hard to get away from it. So it starts to permeate us. And I think there's a huge benefit in just stepping back from any of that fear-based media, because then we start to see the world a little more clearly again.
Yeah, well, and that's where time in nature, I think, is useful too, because you can see what's really real right in that moment. And if you spend time in nature or meditating, you start to calm that system down. But I also feel like this standard American culture robs us of our own integrity and our own power and our own realization that we are enough. And so that then we can start to fear more easily because we feel unbalanced in ourselves. And that's where, at least for me, time in nature or connecting with other people who feel the same way makes me feel that inner strength, that when something comes into me, I can go, I don't choose to believe that as the truth right now. Maybe it will bear out, maybe not, but I know that I'm loved, or I know I love other people. I know I can be in nature and I feel, very, very grounded. So I think that's a way to kind of mitigate dealing with some of that fear. So not engaging in the fear media, but also stepping totally away from the standard American culture and just getting into nature for a bit to just clear your head and clear your heart. So
yeah, we saw that with the forest monks. I experienced that when I was at the teaching drum, and just, there's a bunch of stuff we'll have to get to. Be fearless. Yeah.
Hi, Christina.
Yeah. So, Christina, yours. Hey, if anybody here has not seen Christina's channel, go check that out. It's so inspiring. All your stuff. Just, you're magical because you're you. And there's a singer we like, Aurora, who just the way she moves and sings, it just feels like she's being herself. And so we so appreciate that, just being yourself unapologetically. And that's been really neat for our girls to see too. Okay, so we have to get to the Wim Hof, but the umbilical cord. So,
yay!
Yes. So one of our big friends up here is a midwife, and she's a midwife for the Amish. And definitely such a different approach to birth. Having it be at home or at her birth center. It's in such a, and you got to do a home birth. And,
I did.
And just so different than that hospital experience for a lot of people. And so
I also had a hospital experience.
Yeah, which actually was not so bad, because we knew the nurse, and it was made into something different than maybe some people experience. We've heard some stories, but but yes, so
a gentler way of coming into the world.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm a huge advocate for attachment parenting. It's okay if you're not. I know there's lots of different ways, and as a parent, you got to do what works for you. But I think there is something to holding your child, to responding to your child, especially when they're very young. It's different as they get older. You have to have more conversations, but being close to someone who loves you when you're little, I think probably is very different than being alone and left to cry it out with no response. We can't really know. You can't like live your life side by side. And you're like, okay, one life I'm going to be born like this, and then the other one I'm born like this, and then I'm going to see. I was like, too bad I can't do a couple of lives like side by side and compare them and see what works best for me.
Oh my gosh. Briefly, so I usually say Wim Hof still, but I think it's Wim Hof. It's been actually a good influence on our life. We wrote way back when he was not quite as big as he is now, and we're sent his course, and so we went through that, and we've used that for cold conditioning. I used it for pain control instead of any kind of drugs during surgery, recovery. Yeah, it's been, we could go on and on about that, but definitely been amazing. Yes, Becky, this needs to happen.
So we should give our contact information. So
so ReWild University @gmail is the best way to email us. how to deal with people that are driven by their fears. Oh, wow. That's a big question, because
This part here that resonates with me, the family being pulled down into negative emotions. It's so hard when people you love. I really feel that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's, oh man, where do we go with that? I mean, same question as you were asking, King Komodo.
Yeah.
Helping people out of fears is not easy.
Drew's going to the lake right now.
Oh.
Have a good splash.
Okay. Yeah. Enjoy your cold swim. Jeez, you rock it. Carried my daughter so much I got a callus on my hip.
Way to go.
That's yeah. Whenever we see somebody wearing their baby, so right there with their baby out in public, we always stop and just say thank you for doing that.
Although to be fair, there are some babies who really love other things. We have a friend who, when they had a little baby, his favorite thing was to be in his like little buggy. I don't know, we didn't have one, but like a car seat that you put into a buggy, and then he wanted to be in that and be pushed, just gently rocked back and forth.
Already an individual.
That's what he wanted, and they listened to him. And so it's a lot about listening to your child, and then that's, I think, when we're talking about the fear, I think that's what it comes down to. When we really love people, it can be really hard to deal with them being in a place that you feel you can't reach them. But I think if I think about myself when I'm in a place of fear, I need love and I want to be listened to. And I think the intention that we keep in our heart, I know it kind of sounds woo-woo, but I've seen crazy things happen with just doing a loving kindness meditation to people that I don't know what else to do. And I kid you not, I've seen people do complete reversals of what they believed. And I have no way to explain it other than I came to a point where I thought, I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I have no other recourse. But I still love this person and I still want what's best for them. And so I just did loving kindness for them, and that's all I did. And things changed. And that's not to say that it works on every person every time, but sometimes when you don't know what else to do. And I feel like sometimes, especially if you get into conspiracy theories and stuff, when people are really down a road, if you try to argue with them, all we really do is strengthen what they believe and kind of remove ourselves from being a person who they could talk to if they had questions. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really does. There's a lot of, to use that word conspiracy theory, and there's just, I would lump that into a whole range of things if we go online where people can offer up ideas about what's happening in the world. And without being able, to be super Zen objective, most of these things we cannot verify for ourselves. We have to be convinced by evidence that's given to us. And we can become convinced probably of almost anything. So if we choose things that are very fear-based, that we can't control, then we are choosing a view of the world that is really hard to get out of that. And so in a way, when people are caught in those places, sometimes the best thing we can do is just to give love and to show that there's a way to live that is not fear-based. Because ideally people eventually will see that there's something besides fear. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of stuff around COVID where people turned against each other, and we were all being fed all kinds of information telling all kinds of different stories. And then one person becomes convinced of one story, one person becomes convinced of another, and then they allow that to stand between them. And maybe we should let stories stand between us, right? See that the stories are stories, and and again, it's hard to really know what the ultimate truth is.
I have to say, Sherry, I hope you have a great time with your daughter. And I don't drink either, but I'm having a margarita on Christmas. She's gonna have a strawberry daiquiri.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Fear is like junk food. It's addictive. It is addictive.
Yeah.
It is addictive. And
especially powerful when we all start feeling fear together.
Yeah.
You know, mass hysteria. We don't use our brains anymore.
Yeah, I've been there. I mean, there's been some things.
Yeah.
Because I probably naturally am more prone to anxiety than you are. So I have to really be, you know, present to not go into those fear places. And so there's been times I've kind of gone down rabbit holes, and it's, you know, you say conspiracy theories, 90% true. Yeah, maybe. It's hard to know what the truth is. And I think in our studies, our explorations of Zen, our biggest thing was finding out that knowing the ultimate truth is probably pretty difficult. But
a lot of good comments here, you guys. You know, I have to just say one thing that's come to me as we've had this conversation, and that's that
never live in fear. Yeah.
That our brains, our minds, I should say, are so powerful, because we have the ability to transform pretty much anything. We can decide what we think something, how it would affect us, what we think it means. We have with our minds the ability to interpret life in whatever way we want to. But it is so challenging because of programming from the past, because of insecurities that we have, that we don't often choose to see that we can even program it. We just blindly go on whatever habitual mental pathways we have made for ourselves or other people have made for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that I've learned that when I encounter a situation, the best thing I can do initially is to stop, if I can, and ask myself, okay, what are my viewpoints that are even leading me to feel a certain way? Because we have ingrained beliefs about the mode of reality, the model of the world that we see, but we're responsible for creating that or allowing other people to create it for us. And I think we can overcome a lot of fear by realizing that we have a choice in how we respond and how we interpret things.
Yeah. Programmed by their TVs, government using fear, and even you just go on YouTube, if you make a fear-based channel, it's probably going to be more popular
Fear
than a
is
lot
popular.
of others, because it is so addictive. And so there's a temptation. You know, not only is there the idea of direct manipulative control, but there's the idea that it's just money in your pocket. If you can get people feeling fear and coming back to keep getting doses of fear from you, that's where I think we need to step back and say, what can we control? And the things that we can control is what we intake. We can control what we watch. We can control what our mind is doing, right? Yeah, so what our focus is.
Yeah, we are programmed. And the question is, do we take our own programming into our own hands, or do we
choose to program ourselves? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Saying, hard to know what the actual truth is. Yeah. And so it's programmed from the present to some daily stressors. Yes. Yeah. I think you really, we're all talking to
you
this
guys,
here.
You totally got it.
Because,
hey,
because there's so much, if we allow it in this world, that will drive us into fear. So it's vital that we take the helm of our intake and of our mind state. Yeah. And then we become the opposite of that. We become someone that can spread that love. And that also is infectious. And I'm going to wager that in the end, that is actually more powerful. It seems like fear is more infectious, but that's probably just because there's a lot more of the fear going on. But I say, look around you at real life too. because the media says one thing, but I walk around on this ridge and
Yeah. We live in a different world entirely on a daily basis. And it's very different from the world that kind of they say is out there. I don't know who they is, but we can get into collective illusions where we all. What are you laughing
Sherry.
at? What, Sherry? Were you causing problems?
Yeah. Collective.
Shush. So,
Collective illusions. Yeah.
well, sometimes I wonder. Okay, and I know, quote, bad stuff happens. I do. I understand that. But sometimes I wonder, is it as bad as they say it is? Because we have this idea. Everybody thinks, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. But we're only getting that information from outside sources. We're not necessarily there. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then in reality, most of us are like each other, but we often think we aren't because of everything that we get told.
I'll use an example.
Okay,
By the
thanks.
way,
I'm
Sean, yes. love that attitude.
Yeah,
your channel
so
promotes
true.
Soulful connection. Ah, thank you. Yeah, so there's a neighbor that is was just over having had a long conversation with him the other day, and he and I would have a lot of differences philosophically about a lot of superficial things. And he's got a small armory of assault weapons. He's always packing heat. He has if he sees a bug on the wall, he's going to squish it.
Thank you, Ulysses.
We're going to take it and release it, right? So that's kind of the one of the basic philosophical differences. But it doesn't mean that he and I can't have a strong connection and look out for each other and respect each other. We might have different ideas, but he's also one of the things that makes, he's always watching out for
he
things
loves
on
his
this ridge.
family and he cares about his neighbors, and he's just trying to live the best way that he thinks,
Yeah.
And
a guy that is really, he's outdoors a lot. He's a farmer. Yeah. He's down to earth. Okay.
I'm talking about faith here. And I was saying thank you to you. That's really sweet. Hello, Tim.
Aw. Hey.
And someone was saying people are afraid of harvesting plants. I have experienced that too, with having certain people throughout our programs feeling like they shouldn't take things. But I agree with you in the sense that if there is an abundance of something and you harvest with gratitude and you harvest intelligently, so I used to study plants in school, and a lot of plants benefit from being pruned, and then the energy goes to their root systems and then it replenishes them and they can grow stronger. So in some ways you're actually, if you're not harvesting the whole plant, you're actually in some ways having a really nice relationship with each other where you're helping each other out. But I do agree that harvesting in gratitude, it's such a magical, foraging is such a magical experience.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's okay. Animals can sense bad intentions. Human can too. Yes.
It's amazing with our girls when they are growing up. Even now, they are my kind of litmus test for how a person is, because we have met a few people that seem one way. This is not bad people. But seem one way, but I'll notice the girls are really uncomfortable. And then over time, I'll start to see, maybe they don't have the same values that they're kind of projecting. And the girls will have known it all along, talking about kids, animals, even we have the ability to sense that. We just often diminish it, especially using that mind that tells us things that maybe aren't true. So.
Oh, you guys so chill. You eat a lot of beets. Isn't that funny? We made beet.
He's making a joke now.
But we had beet juice.
We did. We just juiced the vegetables. BEETS.
It takes dedicated practice that we have to catch the negative thoughts in you.
Oh, so true.
Yeah. So Becky, that's been something I've really been, well, we've been working on for years, but I've found more and more is just so useful. It's just to start to train our mind to go where we want it to go.
Yeah.
And that is kind of a superpower, because my mind, if I'm not there with it, it will go on its own places. And sometimes those places are not so great. So being able to say, oh, look, mind, there you go again. You want to go that way, but we're going to take a little detour back to, and often for me, it's just presence, tasting the food I'm experiencing, looking at the person.
That's a really actually good thing to point out, and something I forget a lot. So some of our family members suffer from anxiety. I won't say that we've been to a doctor and they say, yes, you have, but you have more anxiety. Mirabelle has more anxiety. But the thing that often would help Mirabelle, and still does, and I find what helps me if I remember it, is to go into your senses. So, and Becky said something about it's challenging because critical thinking is, as an intelligent thing to do. I know what you're saying about like reason versus emotion, but if we come just to our senses, especially at a time that's kind of like, oh, higher energy, and we see what we can see, or we close our eyes and we hear and we say, okay, I hear this, I hear that, or we smell, or we feel the wind, a lot of times that can take the physical body. I feel like the physical body and the emotional, mental body are super interconnected. And sometimes it's hard to tell which started it, but if we do that, going into our senses and just,
bye, Sherry.
Oh, bye, Sherry. Have a great Christmas. If we go into our senses like that, it calms the body, the physical, physiological, and it gives us a moment to just actually be present. And sometimes that's enough. That awareness is enough to go, whoa, wait a second. This is maybe not how I want to act, or maybe this isn't what it looks like. So.
Cosmos Hope. Wow. Your first time here. Welcome. And unconditional love. That's something we talk about a lot, and we try to live. And it's difficult as a human being to live that way, but it's a constant quest for us. So just seeing that word there. So thank you for sending that. That's really appreciated, and welcome.
Raw diet. Raw diet is definitely awesome. I did a raw diet for a while, and actually a neighbor of ours did a raw diet. So when someone says raw diet, do you mean raw, like raw food, like fruits and vegetables? Or do you mean raw meat, raw eggs? Because there's lots of different raw diets out there. And our neighbor, he did totally raw, raw milk, raw meat, all of that. And actually he did that for about 9 years. And it cured his, what did he have? I can't remember.
So he was diagnosed with something,
Crohn's or celiac, or
which was not
ulcerative colitis, something that wasn't supposed to be healed. And now he's actually switched off of his raw diet, and he's been able to introduce other things. I think our bodies go through different needs at different points in our life, and it's important to be really sensitive to what feels right. We have some great neighbors who are vegans, but recently decided to add in eggs because they felt this draw every time they saw somebody having eggs. I was really inspired by him, because he was very strong in his beliefs and his feelings, and yet he said, I just wanted to listen to my body and what it was calling me to do. And he said, after I had that, I felt so much stronger. I've had so much more energy, and said, I'm just going to continue to listen to my body. And that's really important, is listening, I think.
We've experimented with a lot of diets, and I feel like what I notice around me is that different people, different heritages, different gut biomes, there's, again, it's a thing that maybe there's not just one answer for everybody.
I love King Komodo's story.
Oh, yeah.
Way to go. We need to talk to each other more.
Just talk to other human beings.
I love to compliment people. Just the grocery store clerk or whatever, because we don't see that from strangers enough. Like, hey, that color sweater is so beautiful. It brings out your eyes. It just, what's wrong with just telling somebody, I love your smile. Thanks for sharing it. Yeah. That's way to go. So Yeah, yes. Journey is just as powerful as the destination. Totally. In fact, that's all we are on is a journey, you know. And the destination is like every moment we're in the destination and on the journey.
Takes a lot of discipline talking about the food.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Some intentions to match his thought. Yeah, I feel like Rosenbauer, that's getting back to maybe that fear that can underlie our minds sometimes and become just a pervasive sort of foundation. So reworking our minds, pretty important. Seasonal allergies. Okay,
That'd be you.
that would be me. We're going over our time. Is that okay? We told the
We
girls
can,
an hour.
okay, we will
Okay.
go for maybe like 15, 20 more minutes. And then
Okay.
it's so much fun to talk to
Yeah.
all of you
We
guys.
should
and
stop.
hear-
Yeah, in 20 minutes because we told the girls it wouldn't be that long. But so apologies in advance if we leave anything there, you know, questions unanswered. But
oh gosh, there's so much good stuff. Okay, so seasonal allergies.
that's been a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes, yes, I would take medication for it. I've also experimented a lot with nettle and raw honey that comes right from the area. But honestly, the big shift in allergies came for me in changing my environment. So we used to live in a house that had a lot of mold, and spending more time outside and being in a house that doesn't have mold has basically transformed it so that I don't have any seasonal allergies. So I have to wonder how much they were seasonal allergies and how much it was environmental and other things.
Oh, mucusless diet. Yeah. Well, that makes me think of a neti pot too. You often, if we have any, or if we get sick doing the neti pot.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
that's been awesome for allergies.
Each person is so individual. So you have to kind of find the things that work for you, the foods that you want to eat or not eat at different times of the year. I had wanted to just, the smartphones, Ulysses says smartphones made us antisocial, but we're becoming aware of it. Now we will heal. I think that's a super important message. We would have that with students at ReWild University, where we would ask them to talk to people because many of them were younger and they would automatically admit very readily, I just use my phone to protect myself when I'm in a social situation. And so we would say, okay, we're going to get, this was part of the training for getting ready to go back out into the world after a large period in nature. And so we'd say, hey, you're going to pick a friendly looking person to go up to on the street and just ask them the time or ask them directions or give them a compliment. But the most important part, I think, is that we will heal. And that to me comes back to the mind. And I think it's really important to realize we are capable of healing as individuals and as a society. We have the ability to help ourselves heal. And I like the idea of using our mind to tell us that we're powerful, that we have the ability to change in positive ways. It's really important to have that. If we don't have a thought, if you can't picture it, it's very hard to get there. It's very hard for you ever to reach that road of thinking, I could heal, or I can do this, or we can be this way. If we always have a negative thought and we don't ever entertain, yeah, it could be that way.
That's empowerment. You know, to riff off Alan Watts, we have this kind of idea in this world that's been infused into a lot of us that we're just a little bag of flesh that the rest of the world comes and pounds on, and we're at the mercy of everything. And so we can feel powerless. To kind of reclaim your power, it's pretty important.
Yeah.
So all kinds of thank you. When people give
suggestions for
stuff that's worked for them.
Yeah, it's so nice to have things to try. I think of myself as a guinea pig. I've had a number of different unexplained health issues in my life, and I've just experimented on myself. And that's how you find stuff out. But it's really nice to hear from people because then you can go, I'll experiment with that next.
Yeah, that's been, I love the comments section on our videos because people will often share. And I feel like those are more valuable than the videos are because there's a wealth of information that can be found down in those. We have over 700 videos now, and then you think of all
Wow.
the comments and the things that people have shared in those.
Yeah, lots of good information.
Yeah. So it's a little encyclopedia.
A mini one.
A mini one.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, what do you think? Should we?
I don't want to say goodbye.
I know.
It's so much fun.
Well, hopefully everybody liked this, and we can do it again sometime. Was it fun for you?
Oh, I had a great time. Yeah. I feel like any one of these conversations I could have gone on and talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
Really interesting things to think about, everything from food and allergies to going to castles and wild places to fear. It's been just really enjoyable.
So maybe we should, if you guys go to our community tab on our channel, we'll put up a poll.
Conrad made our wooden mushroom with their children. Oh,
You did?
Yay! Hello, greetings from Germany. Mwah, mwah. Oh, yes,
So
we are so happy. Oh, good, yay.
Let's put up a poll and see if people want us to do something on a certain subject, and we'll put some other subjects, or if you just like this kind of organic Q&A. Oh, you just discovered our channel. No, it's nice to see you.
Yay.
Wow,
That's so
glad to have you
awesome.
here. Yeah, I didn't think we'd get new
No,
people
we were just
here.
planning to, like talk to ourselves, basically.
Oh,
Oh,
empath.
oh, that's awesome.
Aw.
Cool.
Yeah, we can relate to that big time, Christina.
Yeah, we have a lot of that in our family. Liliana, the most strong, I think, of all. And that's something to talk about maybe on another live stream, is dealing with energy, the energy from others, that we take from, that we get from things, what we're allowing in, because that's really strong for me. I'm a person who wants everybody to feel really good, and I feel responsible for that. So it can be a difficult thing to kind of blend with.
So it came from the Moneyless Monk video. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was such a joy to have.
Those guys.
Those
they're
two
the
were
most beautiful people.
Yeah, they came by and stayed with us in New York for a while.
Yeah.
On their moneyless journey across the United States, and it was super cool.
Is there a place did Lori post any videos yet? Do you
know? Bryce.
Oh my gosh, Bryce! Hi. Oh.
I still have it. Can I hear it now?
Is this yours? This was his? That's right.
I love this thing.
What are the odds?
Bryce is the forest monk, and
oh, we miss you.
I always looked at this when you were wearing this. I love this top. And then
he gave it to you, right? When he was
yeah. I think he left it accidentally. So I wrote and he said, "You can hold it for us."
Are we supposed to mail it to you now?
No, you didn't want to mail, but he said until we see next. But I don't know. Maybe I could inherit it. But I would give it up to you.
You have to come and see us.
If I had
the girls still talk about you. You know that? And that one guy, he didn't stay for very long when he was so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe we could talk about money sometime, and debt and that kind of stuff on another live stream.
The Amish might be interesting, because we've really come to know the Amish.
Maybe we can do a poll too.
So we'll do a poll that has different subjects.
And then different subjects. Yeah.
Okay, so look for that on our community tab. The dreams you remember. That's interesting, because I've just been doing some practices in the last 3 nights to remember my dreams more. Okay, we should. Awesome.
Oh,
not one.
That's so sweet. Oh, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna sign off, friends.
I don't want to go.
I know, this is fun. Okay, we'll do this again. And
oh, nice. Yeah, you'll have to talk about Kajorta clothes. There's so many things to talk about. I think we should do this again. And there's so many awesome things to talk about. I think it would be really fun. Yeah.
And Nicole, you're super briefly, although we love to give money to people that are doing, for instance, organic cotton or something like that. A lot of our shopping is just at thrift stores, and we read the labels like you would on food, and often try to get natural fabrics. But we feel like if it's at the thrift store, it's kind of out of that loop of where we're giving money to a company that may not have the best
Yeah,
practices.
mainstream clothing is difficult.
Oh yeah,
but
that's a tough
anyway,
one.
oh, you
Okay,
guys, we
okay.
love you too. We will do this again. It's super fun. And then, yeah, just check out, we'll try to put a poll up soon. We are taking the week off. So I'm not sure if it will be before or after the holidays. And then let's just get some more topics to talk about and find a good time, and we can go back and forth. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thanks for all the things that you've shared. And I can't wait to do this again. Oh, nice to meet you
Yeah.
too. Happy holidays to everybody. And we're going to just be sending out, yeah, all our love to you. So, okay.
All right. Take care, friends.
Yes,
Aw.
thank you.
Thanks for coming.